Let's go. Let's go.
I gotta flip my screen around so I can see myself. You got me.
Oh, that one?
Yeah. Get Laura too.
Okay. I want to see how disgusting I look after moving stuff and not showering.
Hey,
No makeup.
don't worry. I'm in a dirty white work shirt.
Does this look too high to you? Look at that.
Yeah, you're short.
Yeah,
That's
well, I mean, generally
shorter.
speaking, yes.
Try to raise the seat up a little.
Raise the seat up a little bit.
On the side.
The same height.
Yeah, it won't fit up under the table if you raise it up.
Oh, yeah.
No, we could
No,
totally
I'm raised.
crank it down just a
I
little bit.
like it. I like short.
Whoops. Sorry. Cancel.
Cancel the switch background something. Is that?
Yeah. Sorry. Well, we're trying to figure out how we look here. Trying out some new things in our new studio.
Yeah.
And I'm back.
I think it looks good.
We're all here.
We're all here. We're all here. I got us on the split screen. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's
Good.
just showing all of us at the same time.
We're here.
Very cool.
Spruce Pine is experiencing a lot of rain once again.
Oh God, no!
Oh no,
It's-
it's raining.
River's not that high, but
Weather gonna
it was
weather.
a wet day. It was a wet day.
It
A
definitely
very wet
was, and
evening.
it really picked up this evening. Like, while we were at trivia, good grief,
Yeah.
man. There was like a good hour and a half where it, like,
Heavy.
it was heavy.
downpour level.
Downpour.
Yep.
Which Beaver Creek was rocking in behind the
Rocking and rolling.
rocking and
Boiling
rolling
on
in
down
behind the
to
city, rolling.
It really was,
Rolling.
dude. Alta Pass River is getting a little bit high there.
Yeah.
When I came down.
And I can understand. Honestly, I've said this. Like, I know people were a little freaked out over this, and I can understand the PTSD because I mean there was people legitimately had life, you know,
Yeah. It was truly a
Yeah.
life-changing event. You don't wanna
life-changing
go through
event
that. You
or
don't
a
wanna do that.
life-threatening event, even with stuff like that. But it's going to rain.
Yeah, weather gonna weather.
And the weather's going to weather, and 4 or 5 inch rain events are not necessarily uncommon
No.
here.
And this is the time of year. Too.
Yeah, and
Yeah, these spring storms
time.
come through
Yep.
across the southeast. Those clouds pile up in the mountains, and we get a lot at once.
that's what happens.
Yep.
That's what happens. But hopefully, I think it was supposed to kind of after midnight. I think it was supposed to kind of give it to about
Yeah,
midnight, and
I
then
think
I'm sharing the stream out. I'm,
Right
I'm
off a
actually
little
listening
bit.
to y'all. I'm sharing it out so people
no, you're
can.
good.
tomorrow it's supposed to rain
Watch
too,
this.
and Wednesday. Thursday is supposed to be finally the sun's gonna come out. But I mean, I drove by downtown on the way up to here, and the river going
River's
through.
up.
Oh, it's up.
What's up? Another
Yeah.
week of not mowing my yard, apparently.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have a
Thank
jungle
God we
out
got that
front. I
done.
got soaked when I went back to the house earlier to pick those screws and stuff because I had to run out to my shop through the yard, and I was like, oh, I need to get that weed eater working there. Chase.
Yeah. Yeah. Try that trick though with the wire,
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I
Low
got
voltage
some. I
wire.
got
It makes
some.
some
I got some.
killer weed eater string.
Yep.
Oh.
It's tough. You ever thought about that?
No, I didn't, but that's a great idea.
I learned that from some folks at work.
If you have a weed eater that has enough muscle to spin ahead with the extra weight on it, then
Yeah.
that'll work.
Yeah. I feel like probably any professional
Yeah.
weed eater, like,
Yeah.
I would
I
put a
overload.
home light
Yeah,
with
I had
one of those.
The,
Yeah,
cheap,
yeah,
the
yeah.
cheap, like smallest 25cc toy built,
Right.
which was fine, but swapped out the head on it one time, and I was like, "Oh, this is great!" And it would.
What's the Toro? Is that the
Toro.
brand? Yeah,
Yeah.
the red one.
Yeah, that was
Dude, my dad had a Toro push mower that I swear to God I mowed with when I was 5 years old, and I swear to you, when I was 30, I remember going home and watching Dad
Toro was
mow
legit stuff. Yeah.
Dude, it lasted forever. And then it came up to the office because I think Dad was sentimental about it. He didn't want to get rid of it. And I was like, Dad, why are we keeping this lawnmower? Yeah, that thing. It was like a solid, like thick steel deck. I mean, that thing was heavy. It was a front drive. I mean, it had like a
self-propelled.
Yeah, it was probably one of the first like self-propelled ones or whatnot. But
We had a gray John Deere push mower. It was not self-propelled.
Yeah.
And it had the bagger attachment on it, and then it had like a discharge that you would put on the back, and it was I did not like that lawnmower. Didn't like it.
I mowed many a yard with a push mower.
I have too.
Remember
I
me?
still do.
We got. I remember.
Me too.
In middle school, Dad got a push mower. It's a sit on top. You
Ride mower.
it.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't use it to mow the lawn. He took the blade out and he attached, as in true Joe Noser fashion, he attached a cart on the back. So me and my sister learned how to drive on that thing, and we pulled all our friends in the back of it.
So he took the deck off.
Yeah.
Like it was just a tractor.
We went all up and
That's what
down
it is,
Dale
small
I
tractor.
Road.
did the same thing and let Noah ride around.
Every day's a hayride. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dad did the same thing. He took the mowing deck off of an old riding mower, and Noah would just drive circles around the house for hours. Just ride around on that mower, little Noah. He was like,
Oh, I loved riding around on the mower, dude.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite things. I had a dirt bike when I was growing up. That was a cool moment. I had some friends of mine. It was a bunch of them laws from up there in like Green Valley. Like get into Avery County.
Avery County.
It's
other set of laws.
shout out Nathaniel Laws if you're out there. Nathaniel's still around, kicking around out there. Man, me and him had a good time.
There's still a bunch of laws there up Hanging Rock.
Yeah. But his dad was like a race car driver, and we would go over to his house, and he had a slew of motorcycles. All the kids would ride on. I thought that was the funnest thing. And I'll never forget, they had a water bed, and I was like, that's pretty cool. Me and Nathaniel would go jump on the water bed. They'd let us be like, I want to go jump on the water bed. We were like,
Dude, I had a water bed. Like, what an odd thing. Like, they're just not a thing anymore. That's not a thing.
Dude,
My
water
aunt-
beds were a whole vibe.
They were.
You talk about a whole vibe. A waterbed is the vibe, dude.
There was nothing worse than like being sick to your stomach and being in a waterbed. Like when you're sick and you have to go lay down, and then you're laying there, and like every movement you're like, oh,
Being on a
God.
cruise ship.
It was awful.
I slept on one up until as recently to 2008.
Oh,
My
wow.
aunt and uncle, Carol and Frank, had one in their upstairs. It's just like an attic that they converted into like a bedroom. And I love that thing. I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm still feeling the vibe up here.
Mom and Dad had one, and it became mine when I was a teenager. And I slept on it for a long time. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And
Are they comfortable to sleep on? I don't know that I've ever actually
remember.
slept a night on one.
really
Maybe I have.
comfortable.
I'm sure I have.
I mean, I slept on one for
we took a nap
years,
on
but I don't
theirs.
know that I actually really enjoyed it, or I was just like, whatever. I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really comfy.
I was saying with Chase, a friend of mine, his parents had one, and it's like if they were down, okay, let's sneak in and bounce on the water. You sit on that side. I'm gonna make the waves come across and kind of squish you out of the bed.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
I remember this one that we used to jump on. It had probably, honest to God, a freaking 4-inch frame.
Oh, yeah.
Because them things were
They
not
were
messing around.
Heavy.
Like,
Well, I mean,
they
you
were
had
heavier than
hundreds
lead.
of gallons of water in a giant bladder that
Right.
it had
Yeah.
to contain.
I mean, you have to go up under.
Yeah.
People to move them into like a double wide, and you'd have to like go up under and reinforce the floor.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Dude, when
Yeah.
I got in that bed, I'd have to go over the lip that was sitting up that high and then go down onto it. I'm like,
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
they always
Yeah.
had a lip, and dude, if you got to roughhousing on the waterbed and you
You
fall
cracked
and
on
you crack a skull off of a waterbed frame,
Yep.
that's gonna hurt.
Yep.
That's something you don't forget when you're a kid.
Water beds, man. I haven't thought
Yeah,
about
it's
that.
about
in
a queen size
forever.
is about 1,600, 1,700 pounds
Mm-hmm.
of water.
Jeez.
That's what I.
So
used to
forget
sleep
moving.
on.
Yeah, so I mean,
Like,
you're
Yeah.
talking with the frame and everything.
You have to
could
drain
be-
it.
You're getting
Yeah.
close to a ton. probably for your bed. Yeah.
So what do you have to do? You have to put distilled water in them, or do they get
No.
like
That's what
nasty
I
on
was
the
wondering.
inside?
There's like a preservative in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's water. It's tap water. You hook your hose up to it and run it. But
You gotta put like
you're supposed to like
Treat it with some kind
put
of.
some stuff in it. And then,
Right. It's like a pool.
Yeah,
It
massage
is.
it.
Put chemicals.
What I would want to know,
I gotta go shock the man. I'll be back in a minute.
No, because I mean it's a sealed system. Once it gets sealed up, if it's good, it should stay good. It's not.
Well, you say that, but they had heaters in them, so like it was growing all kinds of yummy bacteria.
Oh my God! I bet
they
the
were
inside of a
heated.
water bed
Oh,
was
so then when you
nasty.
drain it out, you got like kombucha coming out.
I was gonna say, like, how do you drain that thing? Like,
With a water hose, it's just the same way you fill it up.
Yeah.
Like there's an attachment, and you just ran it out the window. Yeah, that's what we did.
It's all like a
attachment
little
with like a little
bacteria
valve on
falling
it,
from
on
the
bottom.
roof.
It's just like algae.
Dude, I'll tell you a story about like siphoning something out of a window. So, one of my dude, I'll never forget
I
this
don't know
story.
where this is going.
Dude, I had an electrician that used to work for me when we worked over in Asheville. He was an awesome guy, great electrician. But he was real like redneck guy, like super, like not from around here though. Redneck. He was like a redneck from like Florida or something. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Well, he
Florida
had just
Florida-
rough,
Florida man.
rough around the edges, rough in the cob, cussed every breath or whatever, and was as right wing probably as they come. Well, his wife was like a full fledged like hippie, like holistic everything. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like it was a whole combo or whatever.
Wow. Opposites attract, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Well, he had told me, he's like, I'll probably have to be off for a couple of weeks. Like, we got a baby coming, baby on the way or whatever. So I was like, okay. So he was gone for a few weeks, and I come back. I said, well, how'd the birth go? Or what? He was like, oh, it was great, man. He's like, we did a home birth or whatnot. And I said, really? I said, I'd never really like. At that point, I don't know if I knew anybody who'd really ever had a home birth. And so I was like, so how'd that go? He's like, oh, it was good. He's like, we got one of them, baby pools or whatever, and just did it in the bedroom and had the midwife or whatever.
People do a water birth.
And I said, so yeah, water birth, like at home. And so he said, I said, well, where does it all? I was like, the baby just comes out in the pool. And he's like, yeah. It's like, well, what in the hell do you do with the water after that? He's like, shit, I just got a water hose and siphoned it out the window.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh my.
I was like, are you serious? I was like, after birth and all, huh? He's like, oh yeah, though we took the placenta and she's gonna make them
Feces and
damn pills with it or something
Yeah,
like that.
they freeze dry it. They
Freeze dry it,
it
yeah.
and powder it into pills and everything.
Oh
We never
Listen.
did that.
my
if
God.
people are coming in just step over the little bit of placenta. We just
Oh
siphoned it
my
out.
God.
Home births are a whole thing, man.
They are. My
Yeah.
little sister was born at home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All 5 of my kids were.
Yeah.
Wow.
really, all 5?
Yeah. Yeah, I caught
Wow.
4 with myself.
Oh my
Nice.
gosh.
Yeah.
What happened to the 5th one?
Well, no, it's the first one. It was
Got away?
The first
Oh yeah, I was there. Remember?
story, yeah. So no, the first one we were down in Georgia and we had a midwife and she was great. She showed up on time. The second one was what kind of started the whole maybe not having midwife there thing. We called her and we're like, hey, things usually happen quicker with the second birth than
Right.
they do with the first one. Okay, well, I'm over here in Tennessee and I'll come over and be there in a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't get there in time, so yeah. So it was fine. We were blessed with 5 healthy kids, so nothing didn't
Good.
have any trouble at all. So, but after that, after still paying full price for the second midwife, yeah, that's funny. How that
You
works.
started to question that a little,
and it's
yeah.
Like, well, you know what? We're not too far from the hospital. We've got good EMS here in town, and if we did need to transport, it would be about the same as needing transport, whether or not the midwife was here.
Sure. Yeah.
And we did the other ones unassisted. So, yeah. So
Nice.
I have experience catching babies. If
Yeah.
that happens,
Yeah.
I don't really volunteer my services because I don't. Really
I mean, it's
It's
been
a possible
but if
side
we were,
job.
if I was stuck on an airplane or on a bus or somebody, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, somebody's having a baby," I'd be like, "Well, here's what you need to do."
It's been a
So-
long
Right.
time since I've thrown a baby, so if I ever decide to,
Yeah.
I'll let you know and you can
I
catch
can
it.
catch it, yeah. So immediately that first week after our second was born, this box shows up in the mail from Amazon, and I was like,
It was the midwife.
No, it was a catcher's mitt. What? It was a cat. It was a leather cat. It was like a Wilson leather catcher's mitt, and I was like, "What in the world?" And one of my best friends who had lived on the other side of our apartment down in Georgia had heard that had started catching babies, and he sent it as a gift, and it just said it had a note in it as a gift note from Amazon. It said, this should make catching the next one easier.
Nice.
That's what your new name is.
Yeah.
It's not JB Schmoove. It's JB
Catch.
the Catcher.
JB,
the
JB,
catcher.
JB the
The
catcher.
catcher.
The catch. It will catch over here.
So what'd you do? Like tub?
It depended on. We had planned to do a water birth with the second one, and
Yeah.
then stuff progressed quickly enough. We didn't have time to
Right.
get that set up.
I gotcha.
Yeah, just kind of wherever Mama felt like being at the time, we made it work.
I'm all for it,
Yeah.
man. I could definitely see how like it's just as about as natural as it gets. Like
Yeah.
the only thing the biggest
It
comment I
depends
can say
on-
about experiencing childbirth would be
It depends on.
I've never felt more human.
What you mean, like getting an anesthesia and having your abdomen cut open is not natural?
Also, being in water, it kind of takes a little weight off,
I don't know.
So-
Yeah, I could see how the water birth
It's
would
supposed to
be
be less
good.
of a shock for
Yeah.
the kid
For the
coming out
child,
because
yeah.
you're supposed to have the water same temperature as your body, so that.
Yeah.
So I mean, as long if it's
a lot of the deal with home birth, I mean, it depends on. You have to have the mom has to be committed to that to want to do that and to know
Right.
her threshold of pain and be able to take that, because you will never see somebody work harder than a woman giving birth. Like
That's true.
100%. I don't think I've ever
They could make it way easier if they were on a waterbed. Just saying.
a waterbed.
Waterbed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it comes.
that's a
full
nice
circle.
hybrid move.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're not in the water.
It's a waterbed
You're
birth.
on the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot. I mean, this is something that a lot of people talk about. That we're talking about women giving birth, apparently. But no, a lot of people talk about that. You go to a hospital.
A lot of people give birth.
You go to a hospital and they're very rigid. That it's almost
Sure.
just it's a medical procedure at that point.
It is. Yeah.
and not
That's
a
very
natural
true.
function of your body. And most hospitals, and some are getting better at this. They don't want you to move around. They're like, you're here, we're going to stay hooked up to all this stuff. We're going to put you on IV. You can't drink anything. You can't eat anything. It's like there's reasons for doing that, so you're not then straining, getting sick, and throwing up everywhere. Like that's understandable.
Or if they have to be intubated,
Yeah.
and all that.
Yes.
jazz. Yeah.
That's very understandable. But there's a large number of people this happens where they start going through the birth and labor, and things slow down, and or the baby gets kind of caught or whatever. It's like, guess what? If you're actually moving around, most of the time they'll settle out and move.
Yeah,
around,
that's very
and you can
true.
do things to move the hips and all the stuff,
Yeah.
where then things will keep going.
Yeah, with Ryder, it
You'll
was
get
one
stuck.
of those deals. Like they would give
The labor
Pitocin,
pauses.
and of course, labor
everything-
speeds up.
Yep.
Labor speeds up, and then they would take her off the Pitocin.
Yep.
And then it just goes down. And finally, I'm like, after like 3 rounds of that, and it never happened, I'm like, why are we doing this? I'm like, just let it be. I'm like, is the kid okay? And they're like, yeah.
Well, then let's take our time.
And then they were freaked out because they couldn't get that little oxygen monitor that they used to put. I think they do it differently now, but the heartbeat monitor. And, they have the belt or they have the
Yep.
little thing that they stick in there, and it's like a
probe.
little brad that just sticks to their head, and that monitors their heartbeat or whatever. Good Lord, Ryder came out with like 8 marks on his head where they tried to put that poor thing in him. I'm like, just quit. I just had enough. I was like, just stop. I was like, let's just let this thing. I'm like, is everybody okay? Like, yeah, I think so. I'm like, well, let's just let it. And sure enough, like 2 hours later,
Labor progresses.
Right.
later,
There you go.
yeah, you just got to give it time. I think a lot of it too is the longer you're in there, the more time, the more money you're spending too. So I think they also think that, okay, well,
the
you want
medical
this to
system
go.
wants to schedule things as a procedure.
Right,
You get
exactly.
out, You're done.
Yeah.
You're gone.
And actually,
that's
it's
why
the
the
opposite
rise
of
in
that. They want
C-sections
you
is
out
so much.
quickly.
Yeah.
Because the longer you're in there, the higher the chance there is for a
Well, that's
complication.
true, but I think like even well-meaning physicians. I mean, I think that was a lot of the reason is like, they were like, "Do you have insurance?" And I was like, "No, I'm paying for it out of pocket." And
Yep.
they're like, I mean, they point blank asked me that, and I'm like, "I'm paying for it out of pocket." And so I think they were like, "Okay, well, let's get it along." And finally, I was just like, "You know what? Just it's fine."
Someone call Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Let's chill this out.
Yeah, exactly.
What they should start offering is waterbed birth.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a waterbed?
Yeah.
It's an
Hybrid.
option.
No, you can't call it
Waterbed birth.
Not waterbed.
Water
birth.
waterboard.
Hybrid.
Waterboard birth.
Hybrid birth.
That's not right. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. But we'll implement that like at Gitmo
A
or
water
somewhere.
world.
Waterworld.
Waterworld.
Kevin Costner's there with gills on. And a knife.
Check everybody.
Leather
It's an
outfit.
option.
Make sure they
It's an
don't. Make
option.
sure nobody has gills behind the ears. So they can
Right.
Kanye West is in there.
Oh, they can stay underwater. They can breathe.
I'm not a fish.
Dude, Dennis Hopper. Didn't think Waterworld was as terrible of a movie as everybody thought it was.
I never saw it.
I like Mad Max. It kind of had a Mad Max esque
It's a
feel.
Like aquatic.
when did it come out? 90?
90, yeah, I think it was 90.
Yeah, so it's got that 80s, early 90s like post-apocalyptic vibe, 100%. And
I think everybody wanted it to be this big like Hollywood
there's some of the
blockbuster, but I think
exact
they
sa-
were.
There's some of almost the exact same stunts, like swinging on ropes, vines that Kevin Costner did in Robin Hood.
Wild.
Yeah, it's
It's-
like
it's
almost
very-
like a duplicate of that movie in a
As
way.
far
like-
as far as like some of the stunt type
Yeah.
action sequences go, like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh wow.
But I didn't think it was as bad as everybody thought it was. Partly because I love Dennis Hopper and as a bad guy in any movie
Oh, yeah.
he's in.
Oh yeah,
Like Speed,
oh he's fantastic. What did they give you? A
cheap gold watch.
I never saw that one either.
You haven't seen Speed?
No.
Keanu
What?
Reeves, Sandra Bullock, Dennis Hopper. It's a classic.
Oh my God,
Wait,
dude! I watched that
Keanu
movie
Reeves.
17,000.
Yes.
Yeah, Keanu
Buff
Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, like
Oh, Keanu Reeves was looking good in that movie. He was
So
in his
good.
prime.
yeah, he went from Bill and Ted to like he bulked up. big
Oh yeah, dude.
He's always going to be Bill and Ted to me.
I'll tell you what else I liked is Constantine. That's one of the one. I don't typically love comic book movies,
Yeah.
with the exception of maybe Batman. I like that, but the rest of them really
Really
don't
different
interest
person.
me at all. None of that Marvel universe and all that type of stuff.
No,
doesn't
I'm not
interest me
into
at all.
it either.
But I do like some of those like one-off adaptations of like comic books like that. Like Constantine, the movie, the first one is phenomenal.
How did you feel about Dick Tracy?
Might have missed the mark a little bit. Who was that? It was
What was his name?
You talking about the old live action Dick
Yeah,
Tracy?
that
from
was,
the 80s?
89 or 80.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't that.
I did see that. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
It was pretty bad.
Oh my God, what was his name? He was in. Yeah, look it up.
It's
It's not going to come to me.
Kevin Costner.
Kevin
it was
Costner
another
wasn't
1990.
anything.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner kind of made a comeback with the whole Yellowstone thing, didn't he?
He did. He really did. Like,
Warren Beatty.
Warren
Warren
Beatty, that's right.
Beatty.
Warren Beatty, yep.
Al Pacino, Madonna was in it.
Yep.
Yep. She was breathless,
I
whatever her
haven't
face
seen
was.
that since I was
Yep.
a kid.
Yeah, Madonna was in it.
Dustin Hoffman. I mean, it had a really strong cast.
It did.
But
What do you think about did you guys ever watch the old Mario movies?
That's exactly what I was going to bring up next. Like, for real. Yes.
With John
Dude,
Leguizamo.
it
and
was like it was a terrible movie, but it has such a huge nostalgia factor for
Who
me.
did those? Was that that wasn't
Oliver Stone.
No, not Oliver
No.
Stone. Oliver Stone
He
does
always
like
makes all those like weird.
No. You're thinking about not Oliver Stone. You're thinking about the guy who did Edward Scissorhands and all that.
Oh,
yeah, Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, yeah. Was Tim Burton the one? Because I know Tim
No.
Burton did at least one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ones.
I don't know.
He did, I think, the first one, I think.
Could you imagine that Mario
did?
movie? if
Yeah,
it
that was a Tim
directed
Burton.
by
I'm
Quentin
almost-
Tarantino. That would have made it.
That would have
epic.
been awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I liked those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle
or
movies. Dude.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that would have been badass.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies.
The
were good,
original
too.
ones were-
yeah.
were great.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They were.
But what were the ones we were talking about? The
Mario.
Mario.
Mario
live
ones?
action Mario.
That wasn't Tim Burton.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I could look and see, or let us know in the chat if you know. It was 93.
No, he didn't do. It was the live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? That you're thinking of. He didn't do that one.
Hold on.
Oh, we got dead air because we're all trying to look stuff up.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's all right.
That's okay.
This is important.
Y'all look it up. I'll keep talking.
But What a
He
good
did
time
the,
for movies, though. I mean, even the ones that are like
Bad
not-
were good.
not bad. I mean, we saw them as kids, so they're nostalgic to us.
Sure.
But there's definitely there's a style to a lot of those movies that you don't see nowadays.
No. Oh, dude, UHF. The Weird Al
Weird Al
movie.
movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's a good
Yes. That is a classic.
Seen it all on UHF.
Yep. Fantastic movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie. God, I hadn't watched that in a long time.
No, I hadn't either.
I'll tell you what else was a good run of movies. Is what they had one. That's what made me think of it was the Fugitive. Like tonight, they were talking about that.
Trivia.
Like
Yep.
what was that other one? The Con Air.
Oh, yeah. I told him not to touch the bunny.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the one with Wesley
Cage.
Snipes? Was that Con Air? No, that
No,
wasn't
that was
Con Air.
Nick Cage.
That was Nicolas Cage. And
Nick
Con
Cage
Air.
was in Con Air.
Okay, what was the one with Wesley Snipes where he was the
Blade.
fugitive?
Blood.
Oh.
Oh, I don't know. Let us know in the chat. There's 5 people watching. Surely one of these 5 people.
Wesley Snipes fugitive.
know. Who knows
Yeah, Wesley Snipes fugitive movie.
what movie it was?
U.S. Marshals.
U.S. Mart. I never saw that one.
Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
was a
yeah,
good
with
one.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes, with Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
A tie into The
Really
Fugitive because
love him.
Tommy Lee Jones isn't he in?
Yeah, I
He's
think
in
it
The Fugitive
is.
as
It's
the
like
marshal.
a spin-off movie
Yeah.
of
I haven't
that.
seen that one.
Yeah.
Because everybody loved Tommy Lee Jones, I think, in The Fugitive, and
Yeah,
then they
that's
did a
probably
like a
right.
follow-up movie that
What
featured
happened
him
to
as
him?
like the
He's
lead
like
role.
not acting. Wait, did he die? Did he
Tommy
die?
Lee Jones?
No,
No.
No, but
He's
he's
just not
pretty
acting.
old.
Pretty old.
He has a,
Yeah.
he has a
Yeah, he's
ranch.
old.
He has a ranch and is kind of secluded.
That's how you do
Makes
it.
salad
Reclusive,
dressings.
maybe.
Yeah.
Makes Tommy Lee Jones ranch.
Makes ranch.
No, he has like a ranch with like
Oh, that's
horses and
Newman's.
stuff.
I'm sorry. Newman's own. Not Tommy Lee's own. I get them confused.
Tommy Lee's own is different than Tommy Lee Jones's
Tommy
own.
Lee Jones.
I'm not putting that on my salad, Josh.
What's
Not
it like
putting that in
being in
my
a
mouth.
band with an idiot?
Oh man, yeah, some of those old movies were really good though.
They were. They were.
Like there was something dark about those, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies that was really
Yeah.
cool.
Did
Like
that. So I
Yeah,
looked
I-
it up. So Tim Burton did get contracted on to do the animated series, but then he got fired.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because Johnny Depp wouldn't do it.
Yeah, Johnny Depp wouldn't do it. Had to get him.
I couldn't get Johnny Depp. Could you imagine Johnny Depp as like Splinter?
That'd be awesome. But
How are,
Splinter,
I haven't
remember?
seen it, but how are Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes movies? Because that was him.
I don't know. Yeah, it was. Was Johnny Depp in them? I feel
don't
like
think
he
so.
should.
Really, the new ones?
Yeah.
The ones that started back in like early 2000s.
Yeah.
That's all
yeah.
Tim
yeah,
Burton?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
He's
it
only-
was.
I liked
he did-
them,
he
yeah,
did
I've
one of
watched
the first-
all of
The first
them.
one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Steve Barron.
Steve Barron. Oh, Mr. Barron did a great job on the Ninja Turtles.
Not to be confused with Steve Bannon.
He
Yeah.
did Coneheads.
It's a little different.
Yeah,
Could
a
you
little
imagine
different.
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Steve
Yeah.
Bannon?
Directed by Steve Bannon.
Wow. That
He
would be
did
different.
Coneheads. That was his only other like really well-known movie he did.
They'd be like illegal immigrants and get sent back. Have to sent to an El Salvadorian prison.
And Mike Lindell's in there with him.
Yeah, the My Pillow guy's in it.
Oh boy.
That'd be great, dude.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
I guess we got some semblance of a trade deal with China.
I heard something about that.
I
Yeah.
think it was like a 90-day reduction in, or like, I don't know if it was a reduction or like ceasefire.
Yeah, that's what I was starting to say. It was a ceasefire.
Pause, is it a pause or a hold on the tariffs?
Yeah, or something like
Well,
that.
it went down from 125% to 30%, actually.
Yeah, which,
Yeah.
but apparently, I guess the talks. Grab me one more brewski, Josh. But
No, I think I'm good.
Those cookies.
But yeah,
are
I
really
think
good.
I think that, yeah, those cookies are really good. I think that's that's progress at least. I mean, I'm glad to see that come to an end because I know a lot of people were losing their mind over it.
Yeah.
But and I know it was hard for. I saw somebody post today that what's her name, Corey and Aaron, they have that Appalachian Eclectic or whatever. Yeah, so I guess she'd been doing some of that like an Amazon associate, I guess, where you like sample products or whatever.
Yeah.
And they said that they couldn't do it anymore because of the tariff situation or something like that. So I'm sure that needs to come to an end. But I think it was like surprising that they went in. I don't think everybody had sort of downplayed the 2 days of talks or whatever. Like, oh, this is just like a groundwork.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, thing or whatever. Looking forward to landing. And then they came out apparently with like that, and I guess a framework of a deal, and said that maybe the differences weren't really as big as they were made out to be. I don't think anybody really thought that. But China, I mean, it's like, at the end of the day, if they don't have our market,
Sure.
it's in their best interest, to be fair, because we're so codependent upon one another. It's crazy. It's like, I mean, look at these in-ears that we've been talking about.
The time to have done this would have been before we ever started dealing with communist country.
Right.
I mean,
right.
that's it. There's a point in time in which we did not want to.
Because I think it doesn't everybody kind of want like some sort of humanitarian deal out of it too? It's like, hey,
Yeah.
kind of the point is to a fair deal in terms of trade, but also some sacrifices.
We'd like to deal with a country that treats their citizens well.
Yes.
That's
That's never
what
going
it
to
comes
happen over there.
No.
Like, it's just not. It's not. They will say that they are,
Right, but it's
but
not gonna
no,
happen.
it's all
Yeah.
fake. It's all fake. It's like North Korea light.
Kind of.
It really is.
I find it very interesting. Me and Laura talked to this guy on online on Pal Talk. We all call him Hong Kong. That's his like nickname or whatever. But he actually doesn't live in Hong Kong. He lives in another part of mainland China. So I guess there's a big difference too. I've been watching a lot of stuff about China lately, and like some of the stuff is kind of it's so weird. Like I don't think we give enough like credence to the fact that they literally are a whole entire other like culture.
They are for sure.
Like Eastern culture is not Western culture. There's a reason they're
Yep.
distinguished from one another.
Well,
like
it's westernized a little bit.
well, westernized to the point of like music, pop culture, things of that nature. But like really, when like that sort of agrarian society or whatever goes back a long time.
China's
Like
dynasty's going back.
yeah, I mean, Imperial China is something that
Yeah.
you're talking like probably the longest contiguous running
society
on Earth.
Yeah.
And so, and that's like, it was what's interesting is talking to him because he really wants to come here and he knows like, I mean, he's using a VPN. Like he's, with like I think a lot of them do that, but I mean, he wants to come here so bad he can't stand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Guys,
did you fart? Excuse
my phone farted. My phone farted.
Phone's buzzing.
Excuse you.
Sorry. Excuse my phone.
But yeah, I don't know. I find it so interesting. Like when you really start to get into it, I mean, you're just talking, you can't really just take anything at face value because your face value is so much different from theirs. Like the way that the family structure, I mean, down to the fundamental like core of what it means to be like a civilization is different. Okay. And so you can't just say like they've lived like that for thousands and thousands of years. And who are we to come and say, okay, well, this is the way it is. Like to us, it might look one way, and it is. I mean, human rights violations are human rights violations.
100%.
I mean, no doubt about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, but like to live under that with that many people, maybe is it possible that like maybe a more heavy-handed approach to government is necessary?
Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah, I mean that's all within the past 100-something years. I mean that all of that type of government came about.
Everything
Now,
the CCP
not that there
does.
wasn't stuff traditionally.
Yeah, I mean, it
people
was
coming in and ruling with the sword or whatever. Which
right.
Which I mean, we saw that how used to happen in Europe too.
Again, well, see, at the end of the day, I don't even know enough to really say that. I mean, is that true?
Everything that the CCP does, everything is for the benefit of the CCP, and it has. If it does benefit its populace in any way, it's just a happy byproduct.
I think largely they've been forced to modernize and forced to westernize to compete in the economy, right?
They pretend to, but no. I mean, they still basically have slave labor over there.
But I mean,
And
in the
sweatshops.
'60s, you weren't allowed to basically pop culture from other parts of the world was banned.
And that's
wasn't it?
why I said it's North Korea a lot. It's not North
Right.
Korea. It's North Korea with Nickelback.
North Korea 0.
Yeah.
The more I go down that rabbit hole, though, the more it makes me want to go there and actually lay my eyes on it and
Yeah.
Here's my whole
I
problem.
want to understand. I've never been to that
with,
part of
with
the
all
world.
of the tariff stuff. Like, I understand that it's a negotiation tactic, and I understand what the point of it is, but you have to the same people who are cheering this on were also the same people during COVID that were saying once they raise prices, they'll never lower them. Well, it's happening now. All these companies are raising prices to deal with the tariffs. And do you think that, I'm into camera gear, Sigma's raising their prices on all of their stuff next month? Do you think
That's my question.
A tariff is a tax on your own people.
Yes.
It's an import tax that your people pay.
Yeah.
So,
And there's another camera company that was going to open a factory in Texas to be near the semiconductor stuff,
Right.
and due to the tariffs, they killed that because most of their parts for their cameras are imported, so they'd had to pay tariffs on every single component for that camera.
Okay.
And it's cheaper for them just to import it and pay one
Right.
tariff.
Right.
So
But
that's the opposite of what the intention was. The intention was to bring manufacturing here, and I'm seeing it's having the opposite effect.
Right. But the intention still is to bring manufacturing back to America, right? And that means
Supposedly, but
America
it's-
has to make better products than other countries.
Yeah,
you
but-
have a lot of American owned companies.
Yeah.
That are. You got to remember, there's a whole market. Think about these in-ears.
Yeah.
Where do those Shure is an American owned company, right?
I'd have no idea.
I think it is.
But they're made in Vietnam.
But they're made in
China,
Vietnam or China or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
So they're still not making them here in America.
No,
Well,
no.
we ordered these KZ in-ear headphones off of Amazon, Chinese brand,
Yeah.
and those things are $100. And those in-ear, those $250 Shure pair of in-ears I had, do not even
Yeah.
hold a candle.
It's
to
funny.
don't even hold a candle to the Chinese ones.
It's funny. I just don't see. And again, I'm a small-brained peon, and I don't understand a lot of this, and I'm more than happy to admit that. But right now, I'm not seeing any net positives from the tariffs at all. I'm seeing the unintended consequences are the opposite of what they were stated.
Are they? Here's my question too.
Because you can't.
is-
I'll say this, and I'll
No,
I'll
you're
hush.
good.
Like going back to the camera company, it's like, well, we need to make more stuff in America. Well, that means we have to make every tiny single little component for that camera in America, and that's just not feasible at this point. It's
No.
not.
No, it's not.
This stuff has to be imported.
I tell you what it will do if this plays out, if you were to have these crazy high tariffs for long enough, this is what will happen. It'll go to Mexico. It won't come back to America. It'll go to some.
Yeah.
I've seen quite a few economists say that Mexico is the up and coming China.
Oh, I've seen that too. Yeah.
Because they make much better product by and large than China does. I mean, the automobile companies have been importing things from Mexico for
and
a
they're
long
not
time.
quite as egregious with their human rights violations.
No,
either.
they're not. But it won't come back to America. It'll go to Mexico.
Sure.
You know, the issue is in America is that
Labor costs too high.
labor costs are too high. And what do you do about that?
That's a great question. That's that.
And how long
And
does that even
some
affect?
Some of that goes back to
The
doing tariffs at this point is kind of a little bit late in the game when there's
Yeah.
a global economy already existing. You're like, oh, just kidding. I want everything that you guys have already been doing a great job of making over there. I want them to be made here. And it's like, we're going to have to tool up for this entire industry here.
Yeah, it's not going to happen tomorrow.
If this was,
No.
it's not
Even
gonna
if it
happen
does.
For years.
If you'd had, if we went back 200 years and said, hey, we're going to keep tariffs as part of our trade agreement with everybody, and had it all the way along, it would have forced us to keep manufacturing here
Sure.
all along. And as things were being developed, they would have been developed here at the same rate that they were being developed someplace else. But we said, hey, we can make it here. Oh, immediately make it in China.
Right.
Could you imagine, though, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if the tariffs existed then? Because Splinter was Japanese, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I mean, he would have had to pay some kind of import tax on the the turtles. I'm
He
sure.
was Japanese, not Chinese.
They're getting hit with tariffs too.
Well,
That's
they
it.
need to
That's
come
what
to the
makes the
table,
signal
baby.
lenses. Yeah.
They need to come to the table. I think that there's room for the Chinese, though, to back off on some of the tariff. Because the ultimate deal, really what we want is we want fair,
Yeah.
like trade.
Yeah.
You want fair trade. If you're going to impose a tariff on me, I'm going to impose the same
Right.
tariff. Let's figure out what that percentage is. Because right now, to be 100% honest with you, I would have bought those KZ. If I knew how good those KZ headphones were, I'd have spent $250 on those.
Mm-hmm.
And would have been more happy with them. Mm-hmm. But I think that's what you want. And maybe there is some equalization there. It's like maybe we're just not going to be able to go on Amazon and buy everything for no dollars anymore.
No.
Maybe the real outcome of this is we get a more fair trade
Yeah.
situation to where our businesses can actually do business in China. Because it's not fair to, but like, well, we'll just import everything into your country for nothing,
Right.
and sell it on
At some point,
drop ship
if everything
websites.
somehow
And
magically equaled out, then prices would be what they were, and you wouldn't be able to get super cheap labor someplace else because their economy was that different. Like,
that's true. I mean, really, the
you had-
differentiating
it's like
factor is
even
the labor.
even
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even
It
between
is.
the U.S., like U.S. and Canada, it's like there's stuff. It's like people can order parts across the border one direction or the other because the dollar difference.
Yeah.
And so, at some
Yeah.
point, if everything's fair, then it's going to cost the same both directions, and it's not going to make sense. It's not going to make more sense to build something someplace else than it would here.
Right.
So-
Well, and how much longer is labor really that much of a factor? I mean, we're talking about
Automation.
this automation and like AI stuff now.
Yeah.
How much longer is labor really going to be an issue?
I mean, I don't think it's going to come as fast as
Everybody thinks it's going to
everybody
come.
thinks.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
I think labor is going to be something for a while, especially if it's cheap and, or in some instances free. But what we're looking at this through the lens though of like your cheap stuff on Amazon. Well, what about big ticket items? You're putting a 10% or 15% tariff on something that costs $5,000 to $10,000. That's a shit ton of money.
Yeah, that's a.
And that hurts because I like
Doubles,
to buy
yeah.
guitars and camera bodies that are multiple thousands of dollars. And if there's a 5% tariff on that, that's an extra $500 I have to pay out of pocket.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. I don't like it at all. I'm glad that I ordered this last camera before the tariffs because they're going to up prices by like 5 or 6%. And that would have been huge.
Yeah.
Time
And
to
I'm
lay
bored
off
now.
the big purchases.
No. Never. And I'm poor now because I bought a camera.
Yeah.
That'll happen, man.
It's going to be a beautiful camera, but
It will. It will. It is a beautiful camera. But my whole point is there's a lot of unintended consequences of these tariffs that people, I guess, did not realize. And then now, because of the, I'll say it, the demagoguery that goes along with the Trump's cult of personality,
Right.
people won't admit that this sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
It
But I guess the trade-off, like, is it's short-term pain for long-term gain.
That's what,
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's what
we're
it's being sold
That's
as.
what's being
Yeah.
sold as.
that's the
Yeah.
goal.
But I guess that just remains to be seen. If they actually do
I
have a
hope that's the
deal,
case. Yeah, then I'm all for it. I just don't see prices coming down after they've been raised because
that's true. It's
historically that has never
never
happened.
happens. Yeah.
Never happened.
I'd like to see what after COVID, what the margins are for like drywall and lumber and stuff. I would venture to say that they're getting probably the highest margins they've ever got
Oh, I'm sure
for stuff like
Dude,
that. And you're telling me
a
that
lot
they're going to lower it?
Industries are. Yeah, a lot of the industries are.
But sometimes that upward momentum like that, like in inflation and stuff, also encourages other businesses to get in because you have market room to get in. So that's the other thing that you don't account for in the market. Like, let's say somebody's making a 50% margin on something. Mm-hmm. And the whole industry's making 50% margins on something. Or like it's between 45 and 50% margin. That's what everybody's getting. Well, then somebody comes along and is like, well, I can streamline this by just a fraction and charge a 35%. Have a 35% margin and still come out on top. That gives like entry room into some of those like sectors of the economy
It
that
does.
you wouldn't necessarily have.
It does.
like before, because I know from in the construction industry,
Or it can.
there for a long time, dude. If you were a startup, forget about it. Like forget about it. Like right before COVID happened, you had a
Yeah.
lot of that.
Yeah.
Because I mean the margins were so tight anyway. Because sometimes long term like market success leads to that type of stuff, and it gets real competitive and gets real and it's you almost need some of that to come along sometimes to and what that starts to do is it starts to lower prices again too. So maybe some of that happens.
I hope so. I know this.
I didn't mean to get into a heavy.
No, that's okay. That's all right. That's fine.
We've gone through a lot.
We went from childbirth to tariffs.
Yeah.
And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and everything in between. I'm excited for the new music we're going to be playing. And you got a show this weekend at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, that ought to be fun.
That's going to be fun.
My first sing along dueling. Piano. I learned that the other term for the dueling piano bar thing is sing along.
Really?
Yes.
Sing along music because people sing along because they're requesting the songs that they want to
Gotcha.
sing and dance with. Yeah.
So you can dance if you want to?
You can leave your friends behind, and if they don't,
That's what
he's
he's doing. He's like, sorry guys. So Josh, are you free Friday night?
Yeah, sure.
Laura and I will need you for music trivia.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll be
Chase
there.
is abandoning us.
Yeah, we could
Yeah,
have used you like a lot in the last couple times.
Yeah, the
actually.
Leonard Skinner one I would have cleaned up on, but now
Yeah.
we're going to get down here and it's going to be like something that I have no
because it
clue
was
about.
Leonard Skinner albums
It's a bunch of
and
categories. but
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
you know a lot of that. I mean, you know Jamie. Well, I have to give him credit. The last few, he's been throwing in some pretty eclectic stuff. Like he's thrown in some good ones. Yeah, Jamie does a good job at that.
He does. Yeah.
Can I mention how much I love Jamie Vickers?
Dude, he is
Jamie
a
Vickers
wonderful,
is
hilarious,
He is so funny.
beautiful human being. I love that
he
man.
is. Him and Sarah are two of my
They're
favorite.
wonderful people. Yeah, Jamie's the man. He is the man. He's one of the funniest human beings I've ever met in my life.
The most memorable moment was from when he was on the Hollercast episode, the first one that he did, and you took out the bearded dragon. He was like,
Oh, that wasn't the
"Don't-"
first one. That was
He
the
was
second
on?
time he was on. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, it was the
And
second time he was
walked
on.
over to him and he was like, all right, like.
What's up, Black and Gold
Freaking
R7? How's it going?
That was too
That was
funny,
so
man.
funny.
He was like, oh, God. that beard, he was like jumping all over him.
I was like, I swear to God, your house is like a zoo.
It is. It's still like a zoo. It's still
Oh.
like a zoo.
You even have Bird now.
I have bird now. Yeah. Anybody want a bird?
Harper wants it, but I'm
No.
resisting.
Bird
No,
away.
no, we're
Trying to
not
get
getting
bird
a
away.
bird.
I know.
Absolutely not.
Intentionally, she's asked me 300 times
We're
about
not
it.
getting a
I'm
bird.
like, I'm not.
No,
That's
Not a
awesome,
bird.
bird. It talks.
that's the line.
I'll sit there and it's like, what
Yeah,
you doing?
but then we have to listen to it all the time.
It's
I'm not
actually
doing it.
not bad.
No, cockatiels are not bad.
No, this
man.
one-
They don't-
Yeah. No, I know. My sister had one, and I
Yeah.
remember growing up, and that thing would not shut it.
Yeah, this one doesn't.
Oh no, most
So-
of them are good.
You said you started vacuuming and it was like,
We're
oh,
not getting
boy, howdy.
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
Well, now it
Oh, my.
started catcalling the vacuum cleaner. That's its thing. It
Yeah.
catcalls the vacuum cleaner. The Roomba and the vacuum cleaner. When I get close to it, it goes like it's freaking out and catcalling the vacuum cleaner.
I can't believe you just found a bird.
A bird. Found a bird. Yeah.
A cockatiel just
cockatiel.
flying wild.
Just found it. Just found it.
How did you capture it?
So, it's going no bird, but he'll take some snakes. I'm gonna keep my snakes. Okay, so my friend Nate in Johnson City calls me, and or not Nate, Johnson City, but Elizabethton, and it was his house. It came to him, and I went and got it that day, and just brought it back to North Carolina, and
It was just hanging out outside.
It was just hanging out
It's
outside.
obvious that it was not a wild bird.
Yeah.
Because it's a cockatiel.
Yeah, I
have
got over
seen
there.
that
He
before.
was like, I didn't know who to call, so I was like, I called you because you have animals, and I literally walk up to it and it's on my head, and it's like I got a bird now.
Wow.
It had given me kisses on the cheek.
You didn't choose the bird life.
It chose me.
It
So-
shows you.
Does anybody want a bird? No, the bird is really sweet. It's healthy. It's a male. I took it to the vet. Everything's good with it. It was not tagged or chipped or anything, so no idea whose it is. It talks. It says, it asks me what I'm doing, and it's like
It sounds thoughtful.
it's very thoughtful.
Checks in on you.
Yeah, he's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm sitting here." He calls himself a pretty boy. I'm a pretty boy. He's a pretty boy. So he's heard
cool.
that a lot.
Yeah.
I've been playing.
And that's quite remarkable for a cockatiel.
to
Honestly.
talk. I know.
Yeah, it's not like, I mean, you can train them, but it takes a long time. Like,
Yeah, I have no idea how old this bird is.
Yeah.
No idea.
The best I could do with mine is I had two of mine would sing the Star Wars anthem when I came in. The Imperial
That's
March.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a video of him talking here. I'll play it. It's hilarious. What you doing? What you doing? He does squawk when someone opens the door. That's really the only time. Or if I'm on the phone and I put the person on speaker, he does not like that.
Some frequency or
he
I
something.
don't think
goes-
I've even ever heard him when we've been over
Yeah,
there.
no, he's
Like really chill.
He's really chill. But if I'm on the phone with somebody and I put them on speakerphone, he immediately starts catcalling and talking and car alarm. And God, he does a car alarm. And now I hate that. Don't like the
my
car
God.
alarm. I've not been able to catch that on video yet. Let me find it.
That's
So where,
hilarious.
so where do you live that there's a car alarm going off all the time?
Yeah.
So he does this other thing too that I'm hesitant to say, but it's quite hilarious. He does
The short beep of a very specific frequency that people would recognize.
Yep, he does. The,
R2D2?
No.
A single chirp.
Chirp. Smoke detector with
Smoke
no batter.
detector, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep, he does that occasionally too.
So
And I'll
kinda
just
It,
be like,
sounds-
it sounds just like.
and I'm like, is one of my? It's the bird.
Yeah, it sounds just like.
That
That's
would be
hilarious.
the worst, but that's so funny.
Hey, that's somebody.
That's so
somebody
funny.
gave him a bad habit
Yeah.
by not want to.
It's chirping.
These little kisses. Kissy sound.
That's crazy. So you've just learned what he said because he just said it
He
one
just
day.
said it. Yeah, yeah. He was. It was the first day I had him. Like, because I got him the day that we all went up to Jackie's birthday party,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh,
and
hospital day.
Yeah,
yeah,
hospital day.
hospital day. Yeah,
ER day.
yeah.
Oh, no.
So I had him in the cage, and he was just sitting like
Cat
next to
allergy
me
day.
in the chair, and I'm like, "What is even
was an
happening?" And he goes,
expensive
"What
day.
you doing?"
Still paying for that.
That's crazy.
But
Jeez.
hey, I'm alive.
You're alive.
You are, and that's
That was scary.
important.
Yeah.
Man, asthma attacks are scary.
I never
My
realized
cockatiel-
when you said that you're like, you're turning blue. And I'm
were.
like, really?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you were not in a
absolutely
good way that day.
No.
No. Well, I've been that way for a few days, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna push through. It's like a splinter. It's like you just let it go, and it'll heal itself. I was just like, figured my lungs would heal themselves.
Sorry. I was pulling the chat back up.
Oh, we're
Yeah, I
in a
just
time loop. Is that,
Thought
is
my
that
body
us?
would heal
That's us.
itself.
Yeah.
That's all-
Oh gosh, it's us in the past.
Oh no.
Yeah,
There
that's
we
us.
are.
That's
Yep.
us a few seconds in the past. So does that mean that we're traveling back in time?
I think it does.
I think it does too.
And my cockatiel, they liked reggae music. I'd play reggae music
That's
all the time.
hilarious.
Bob their head to it.
Oh, yeah. Bob.
So I'm playing.
They'd sit
There's
next to each other and weave back and forth like this.
YouTube
That's
videos
funny.
that you can play that are like 10 hours long while you're gone that train your bird to talk.
Really?
So that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
What are you
when I
trying to
leave,
teach him how to say?
well, it's like hello and what you doing, which she knows how to say what you doing, but it has that one, and there's a whole bunch of different phrases that it
Wow.
just repeats, and then it's got like this whole thing. It takes a break, and then it has other bird sounds that it can mimic, and then back to human voices, and
So Josh is creating like the Manchurian Candidate bird version here.
I let it listen to a fair amount of South Park too.
And kill the Prime Minister.
So it's gonna say some pretty terrible things probably. So does anybody want a foul mouthed bird?
Does it say any obscenities right now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I like that.
The night's still young though.
That's hilarious.
He's cool though. He doesn't like fingers.
Yeah.
If I point finger, he's like a snake. He hisses and bites. He goes.
Oh yeah, they'll bite you.
Yeah, but if
Big
I just
time.
stick my hand in like that, he'll hop up on it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like.
He doesn't like this.
Finger.
Yeah,
Even
no
like,
finger.
Like that.
Yeah, he'll still bite. I got to make a fist.
Oh,
I have
no
to
fingers
make
at all.
no fingers. No,
Yeah.
none. Yeah, got to make a fist, and then he'll hop up on it. But
Yeah, mine didn't. There was you had to be very careful the way you handled it. The boy ones, they get a little finicky with that. Mm-hmm. Boy, and they get their claw in like the cuticle of your fingernail or their little beak.
oh man, yeah.
My sisters,
Yeah, it
did
hurts.
that to me, and just
They'll bite
I
the
didn't have good
shit out of you.
experiences with that bird.
My grandparents had a Quaker parrot when I was growing up.
Is that one of the ones with the?
Was it?
No,
Hold on, there's
no,
a lot
that's
of
It's got
jokes
little
here.
fat, flat-brimmed hat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the flat brim hat,
Little gray jacket.
the
Gray
jacket,
jacket.
and the white hair. It makes oatmeal. Like it has a full business.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes oatmeal. But that thing talked nonstop.
Really?
Nonstop.
Your grandparents had
My
one?
grandparents had it. Actually, it belonged to my great grandmother, and then when she passed away, it outlived her, and went to my grandma and grandpa, and
That's crazy.
it talked and it sounded just like my great grandmother. Like it mimicked her voice perfectly.
Oh, some of those
Wow.
parrots are
Perfectly.
Like,
So to the point where, like, there was a guy from the church that came over one day, and they weren't home, and he knocked on the door, and Jake said, "Come on in." So he walked in and he sat down, and he's like, "I thought, Ruby and Vernon will be out eventually."
Oh my god.
And the bird was like, "What you doing? Where have you been?" And he's like, "Then I realized I've been sitting here talking to a bird." So I just left.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
I used to go to a salon. They had one of those like gray parrots.
Oh, I'd love to have an African gray.
Yeah, like African gray. Yeah, it said all kinds of stuff. It just have a full conversation with you. Imagine being in a beauty salon. It learned
talk.
everything. I
Everything.
mean, it had a full vocabulary, man.
Wow. The one out at the vet's office, it makes a lot of like Snapchat and Messenger sounds.
Yeah.
It sounds just like them.
Wait, is that Dr.
Giorgio's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've
Where
got
people
one.
get Snapchat messages and
Yeah.
stuff sitting in the waiting room.
Mhm. Yeah, and it makes those sound. It sounds just
Everybody's
like
like reaching for their phone, like, oh.
them. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's crazy.
It will let
Yeah.
me. It will let me pet its beak.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Lacey would get so mad because it would just like bite everybody else, but I could come in and be like, "What you doing?"
You're like Dakota. Dakota's like that. They get things that they had a horse that he rode, I think, out there at the Appalachian Therapeutic Riding thing that like nobody else could ride, and they loved Dakota.
Really?
Dakota's just like that.
He's really gentle,
Yeah,
really
and
kind.
really unassuming. I think like
Yeah.
animals like that type of stuff about people.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, this guy's
He's not forcing me to do something.
yeah,
I wish my snakes would take that on.
yeah.
I wish Mo would take that.
Yeah, yeah,
No, they're just lulling you into a
yeah.
sense of
Oh
safety.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Ninny Muggins. He's still never struck at me, and I do occasionally handle him. He's a domestic, so if I were to get bit by him, it'd be like, oh no, I need Andy.
And you got a friend that's developing the world's.
Tim Freed, yes, yeah. Tim is an amazing human being.
I've seen that news story all over the place,
Uh-huh.
like where they're making a tell
I
me.
remember back before.
haven't heard
So
this.
okay, so this guy Tim, and I know this guy because the snake community the venomous snake community, anyways, is fairly small. It's just a small group of us crazy people. But Tim has been injecting himself for years, like tens of years, with diluted snake venom,
Why?
Different types.
What?
to develop an immunity,
Oh gosh.
which he has.
What?
I've watched the man get bit by a black mamba
like
for real.
a full
A
bite.
full bite, 2 or 3 actually, on the arm.
Does
in a-
he
in a
show any
sensation.
signs of distress or
No.
has his blood been studied? Like, my
It,
God.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what's
that's what they're
happening.
doing now. Yeah, they're actually developing a universal antivenom out of his antibodies in his blood.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's crazy
it is
interesting.
wild.
Wow.
Tim Fried is a madman. There was another scientist, actual like biochemist, who started this research, and it was like a herpetologist and stuff. And he was, he
Let's
was
get
really
this
into
guy
it.
on the podcast.
Oh,
We have
I
to.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll reach out to him. Yeah, that would
That's
be awesome.
fascinating.
Yeah, it'd have to be remote, but
Oh,
yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, we could absolutely do that. We got to get Tim on.
That'd be
wild.
cool. Yeah, what an interesting thing.
Right.
That's wild.
Yeah, back he
See,
Yeah.
The guy's basically used himself as a human experiment.
Pincushion.
Yep, he sure has.
I mean, how many
Yeah, that's
snake
pretty cool.
species would that make? Because, I mean, one immunity covers a certain type of bite, right?
Yeah,
For the
so
most
you got,
part?
for the most part, you got your polyvalents that cover like multiple species, and I'm not sure. I don't know what.
But I guess what I'm saying is, if you got bit by if you were injecting yourself with diluted black mamba venom,
Right.
For theoretically, how many snakes would that make you immune to?
Just the mamba.
Okay, so it
Yeah.
wouldn't be multiple.
No,
But
no.
he's done multiple of these.
Yes, tons of species. Tons of species. I don't know that I've ever seen him take a cobra bite. I've seen him take a mamba bite, and that's just the wildest because that nerve, it's so fast acting. And I say one. I mean, I've seen him literally take multiple mamba bites on his arm, and they're not venomoid. They're fully loaded.
And they won't get like bruised or.
Oh yeah. I mean, it brings the blood and
Yeah.
everything because it's puncture
He
wounds.
still breathes good. And
Yeah.
gee.
Yeah, it's wild. There's videos on YouTube of him doing it.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I'm watching tonight.
Yeah, just look up Tim Fried, snake bite man. There's all
Speaking
kinds
of
of.
that, we probably should get off here.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
11:45.
11:45. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for hanging out and shooting the breeze with us this evening. I really like live streaming down here because it's like super fast.
it works.
It
Yeah.
works great. It does not at my house.
Yeah, it's nice to be.
Here on the fiber. the
Yes.
I know.
speed connection.
I know.
Smooth runnings, baby.
Yes. Well, everybody, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, which I'm sure the people who watch this are. But like, share, subscribe. All right. I'm going to
right.
kill it.
See ya.
Woo!
See you, everybody.